What's going on, everybody? Hey, what's going on? How y'all doing today? It's James Hollingsworth, and welcome to the Working People's Podcast, where it's everybody's desire that we can build generational wealth and financial legacy for our families. Thank you so much for watching here today. I got my sister, everybody's favorite business girl in the house. What's up?
Hello, everybody. This is Dishra Vinesley coming to you today on the Working People's Podcast.
Oh, what they need to do, girl? What they need to do, sister?
Like and share,
Oh,
right?
share.
What platforms?
If you're watching via YouTube, make sure that you are watching and that you press that subscribe button. Also, make sure that you press that thumbs up like button, and you know what to do. Ding, ding, ding. Ring,
Ring that bell.
ring it, man. Ring that bell because you will get notified when we upload new videos and new content. If you're watching via Facebook on my personal page, thank you for watching, and do the same thing. Press that heart button, press the thumbs up like button, drop some comments below. But the most important thing, Deja already told you, she can tell you again,
Like and share.
like and share. And also, if you're watching on the new posted up there on the Working People's Podcast page, do the same thing, like and share. Also, press that thumbs up like button, press the hearts, and drop some comments below on there. Thank you so much for watching. We really appreciate you. We're coming back with part two. Part two, baby. Part two. Breaking generational poverty mindsets. And I'm hoping that we can hope you. Because that's all I'm trying to do. I'm just trying to hope you.
And what does HOPE stand for, James?
Helping other people excel. That's all I'm trying to do is hope you.
That's it.
So if you are watching, share this with your cousins, your auntie, them, your mama, your cat, your dog, your turtles, and your snakes. Share it with everybody.
Yes, yes, yes. I
Make
just
sure
want to
you,
say this too,
yeah,
James, being that you are the founder of the Working People's Podcast, the intro, you did that. You did a wonderful job with the intro.
I like that new intro. Yeah, we're doing something a little bit different. We're trying to bring it up another level, another notch. So if you do
Yeah.
like that intro, throw us some thumbs up. You know what I'm saying? The new Working People's Podcast introduction.
All right.
These are you ready to go just straight? You know what? Ain't no session. Just might as well just walk right up on the stage. And Will Smith slapped right in the face. I don't know how any other. I mean, the whole purpose of we have a desire that we hope people
That's it.
to really develop the mindset of building generational wealth for the families
Hmm.
and really establishing a financial legacy that can extend beyond our own personal lifestyle, lifetime.
That's right.
And so sometimes it's uncomfortable to talk about
Yes.
all the
The hard conversations.
yeah.
But you know what, James? I just want to say this too. I went back and I watched the last podcast, as I do with all the podcasts. I rewatch them. I rewatch them. And one of the things you said that stuck with me
Mhm.
toward the end, I was like, I don't want to offend anybody. And you had to correct me on that. And the thing about it is, I had an experience with a customer, even who came in to the jewelry store to shop. And she said the same thing. You want to know what she told me, James?
What she say?
She said, no, never apologize. Because maybe it's in the offense that they would look to want to change.
Wow. Well, sometimes it takes that push that that's the level of motivation that sometimes it takes to be
Hmm.
confronted with a hard truth that really makes you self-examine or really look because it's insanity to keep doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results and then
That
when
is it.
you don't get a different outcome. I think a lot of times we tend to want to blame and point the finger at other people or different things that have happened in our life and we don't want to take that level of accountability. That's uncomfortable to do, and to
Mhm.
look inward and really to self-examine and say, wait a minute, is it because of the way I'm thinking the reason why I'm not getting the outcomes that I want?
Yeah. And and it's funny that you just said that because even for me, what we started doing at work was just in the last 6 months, before we do an evaluation, we allow the employees to self report themselves. So the
Oh,
same evaluation template that we use, we give them one and say, can you go ahead, evaluate yourself? Because when we evaluate them and they evaluate themselves, we're able
mhm,
to sit down and review them together, and we can then say, well, you felt like you may have been excellent in this area. Well, I'm going to tell you why we chose that you're good in this area, because everybody has room for improvement and we all are growing in some areas. But when we started that, it gives them the opportunity to self report on how they think that they're doing on the job,
yeah,
and it makes all the difference. You don't have those uncomfortable conversations in the room when you're doing an evaluation to where everything is so negative. You know what you're doing wrong, and we know what you're doing wrong, so let's have those conversations.
yeah. And, you know, Adesha, I don't think that most people have an income problem. I believe that most people have a spending problem. And that spending problem often equates to a mindset, or it equates to just, decisions that we make that are oftentimes emotional
Mhm.
decisions.
Mhm.
I
Mhm.
really don't think that most people have an income problem, a problem with how much money they make. They may feel like they do, but I think a lot of it is because we tend to spend our money emotionally. A lot of times it tends to be a thing where it's comfort spending, just like comfort eating or whatever, comfort spending. And I think also a lot of times when it comes to relationships, that what I feel is like one of the most significant, important decisions that any of
Mhm.
us ever make in our life. I believe it often comes down to the same thing. We make decisions emotionally based on how we're feeling. And a lot of times we make decisions out of fear, uncertainty, um, depression,
Yeah.
whatever. And I think there needs to be more a level of more accountability
Mhm.
with decisions that we make.
Mhm.
Um, there was a Facebook post that I posted a few days ago where I said about let this be the day when um, we what did I say? Let this be the day. Let me make sure I got it right now. I'm about to mess it up. Let this be the day. In fact, let me go down on my
Nope,
page and see
you
if I can
I'm
find it.
going to look for it.
You're gonna look for it.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's down there, not too far. Okay, here it is. I said today, let's live an excuse-free week. I actually
Wow.
posted this. I want to say 5 days ago, so that would have been like Monday or Tuesday, right?
Okay.
Let's live an excuse-free week. And if we're going to point the finger at something, let it be our destiny.
Mm.
And I think that is one of the issues a lot of times is that we really don't take accountability a lot of times.
Right.
And when we make decisions based on how we're feeling and we don't
Mhm.
get the outcomes we want, the easiest thing to do, especially when it relates to a disaster that happens with a bad money decision, we still want to blame someone else for
Mhm. I can see that.
it.
Because
These,
the thing about it, a lot of people, like you said, lack accountability. It's easier for me to fault somebody else versus looking at my faults and failures. No, it was them. It was because of them I didn't succeed. No, but what did you do or not do?
mm, well,
No, we we
you
got to
telling me
do
to look
better.
in the mirror. Is that what you telling me I'm supposed
Yeah,
to do?
we have to all take a look in the mirror. We pass by many mirrors throughout the day. And if the reflection that you're seeing is a reflection that you're not happy with, now don't get me wrong, I'm not talking about physical features. I'm talking about the inward man. If that person that's on the inside of you, that reflection that's staring back at you, if you're not happy with that, the only person that can change that is you.
Yeah.
But you got to make a conscious decision to change and want to change. And that change can lead you out of a povertized lifestyle, a poverty
Yeah.
life. And what I mean by povertized lifestyle is, you are excited when tax time comes.
Oh,
Most people who are in a different tax bracket, that's the least time that they're excited, because more times than none you're having to collect a lot of data. It's
hmm.
very time consuming, and
Yeah.
you just hope and pray that if you owe, that it's not tens of thousands of dollars that you owe.
Hmm.
I don't think a lot of people understand how the taxes work.
Yeah.
Generally, when taxes are refunded back to you, all you're doing is getting the money that you already prepaid into the tax system anyway.
Mhm. That's right. 100% facts on that. You mentioned about being happy, right? And it really made me think about, if you're really not happy with yourself, with your life,
Hmm.
and happiness, I even hate to use that word because I did a quote. I don't think nobody really knows who the author of that quote is. It talked about the pursuit of happiness is the errand of fools. So oftentimes when we are trying to pursue happiness, it's really just a foolish errand that we're on, because happiness has to be within. To pursue it and try to find it in something external, it's just not going to happen. Nothing external is going to make you happy. And if you're not happy within yourself with who you are as a person, even if you find what we would call the perfect person to couple with and to partner with in a relationship, you ain't gonna be happy with them because you ain't happy with you.
You not happy with yourself.
Yeah, Lord. So,
And that just goes back to misery loves company.
ooh, and a lots of it.
They do. We all got family members or friends or associates or people that we work with, and nothing they do or you do, their happiness is only temporary.
Mm-hmm.
And, I told you before, I made it up in my mind. Peace is my portion. I don't have time to be drained by an unhappy person,
Yeah.
because spirits transfer. We
Mm-hmm.
talk about, biblical principles on the podcast too. And spirits do transfer. And I'm just not trying to be around somebody who's always complaining. A complaining spirit, you ain't never happy, but you're not trying to do anything to change the things that's making you unhappy. But like you said, insanity is doing the same thing but expecting a different outcome.
Yeah.
If you
I
want a
like to
different
think of
outcome, you got to change.
facts. I like to think of when you said about spirits transferring is looking at it this way, since we are still living in the effects of a pandemic, a virus, whatever your personal feelings are about it, it was man-made, manufactured, whatever. I'm not related to that right now. I'm only referencing to whether it's a cold, whether it's a virus, whatever, whether it's the flu, whether it's monkeypox, whatever it
Mhm.
is.
Mhm. Mhm.
We're talking about something that can be contagious, something that can spread to other people. And when you hang around people that's infected with negativity, that can transfer off on you. You can get infected with that negativity by hanging around a bunch of people that are infected with negativity.
Yep.
And so I think that we need to really examine ourselves and take the accountability. We can then say, them people infected me. Well, take accountability. Why were you hanging around with them, you know, without protecting yourself? Oh, I don't want to have to wear a mask. Well, in this case, the example or the illustration or the parable to my example will be a mask, wearing something, guarding your heart,
Ooh,
taking
yes.
due diligence to guard your heart against offense, against people that are bitter, guarding your heart. wearing a mask over your emotions and protecting yourself and keeping yourself insulated from people that are walking around with negativity in their soul so that
Yes.
you won't get infected by it.
Yeah.
Oh Lord, I didn't mean to start preaching this
And
early. Jesus, what's wrong with me?
and the
Maybe we
best
should-
way to do that is to maybe take not just that 6 feet social distance. You just need to totally socially separate yourself from that person
Social distancing. Social
because
distancing.
it just is no value added. There we go with that again. It's draining. It causes offenses, and offenses causes, if it's not cured, it
Mm-hmm.
causes health issues. Now
Mm-hmm.
you're dealing with bitterness, unforgiveness, and that's a root that has to be uprooted
Yep.
and sent back to that place
Yep.
because you allowed yourself to be in the presence of chronic complaining, chronic, you know, people gossiping. It just adds no value to the life.
Has no value.
And most people who do it is people who got too much time on their hand.
Mm-hmm.
Most people who are living in what we call the wealth transfer, the
Yeah.
generational wealth, most of those people are busy doing something because, again, those people recognize that time is of essence.
Yes.
What did you say the other day
About time being valuable.
about
More
time being
valuable than money.
valuable?
Yep.
Those who have it know what to do with it, the same way they value time over what they value money, because you can't get it back.
You can't.
Yesterday gone.
Yeah.
We can't get yesterday back.
And why would you waste that precious, valuable time on a situation or with oh Jesus with people that don't want to be living in a positive mindset? Boy, I had to clean that one up. Boy, I had to clean that
I
one up.
seen.
I wanted to say that was totally different.
Mm-hmm. I seen, but hey, you did it.
Well, if we've offended anybody already, you better hold on to your seats because once I put this live presentation on, you might really start feeling a certain kind of way. But we need
Mm-hmm.
to. Being Father's Day coming up this tomorrow, this weekend, and by the way, happy Father's Day to all the
Yes.
gentlemen out there that are fathers and that you're being responsible with that precious res- responsibility that God has given us.
Yes. Happy Father's Day, dads.
Absolutely happy Father's Day.
Near
Make
and
sure
far.
you tell your husband 37 times.
I sure will. I asked him, James. I said, "Do you want to go out to eat tomorrow? Where you want to go? I don't want to go out to eat. What do you want me to cook? Well, I'll let you know." He don't want to go out to eat. He just
You
want
don't
his
want
wife
to go
to
out
cook
to
him
eat.
some dinner.
You don't want to go. He said, just cook me some of your good old cooking. Child, you must be over there. I mean, straight grilling, burning up just place.
I'm
You,
gonna have to invite you over one day, James.
yeah,
You come over and break bread with us.
I sure will. I'll bring me and myself.
That's all right.
Uh, we're here on the Working People's Podcast, and we have a presentation. We want to just get into some really thoughtful discussion about some things on why we believe that there is a poverty mindset, as well as why we believe that there are some things that we need to begin to instill different values. We need to begin to talk to the next generation of young people coming up behind us to obviously make better choices and better decisions and to get the outcomes that they want that can make set them up for success.
Amen. Yes,
And,
yes,
and
that's
so,
it.
so we're going to really talk about some hard things tonight. And we want you all to really just pay attention and really just roll with us on this and just really evaluate and examine how we can have this discussion while we um, while we look for well, so how I want to say it, DJ, while we look for ways that we can make things better.
Solutions.
Solutions. That's what I was looking
Yep.
for. Solutions.
Yep.
So DJ's going to talk a lot because I don't want to get myself, thrown off the podcast, and then DJ have to find somebody else to replace me.
We're not gonna do that.
So should I say it or you want to say it, DJ? Where they at?
So, where all the good men at?
Where they at? That's how many times have you heard that?
Where are no, or you hear, ain't no good men out here. Well, yeah, yeah, they are. There's a lot of them out here.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, but for the person who believes that it's not, could it be a situation where their perception has become their relationship reality? That's why I highlighted that.
Yes,
Because so a man, Deja, you've been saying that several times in some of the previous shows that we did. So a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. So
yes,
if your perception is that there ain't no good man out here, then that perception will quite often become your relationship reality.
yes.
Physicist Thomas Kuhn states in his paradigm shift theory that a paradigm shift occurs when current theories can't explain some phenomenon and someone proposes a new theory. So today, we want to perhaps propose some new theories because if your current theory or your current perception is not given any type of explanation or resolution to why things are the way they are in your particular life or whatever, could it be that you just need to be open to hear something new
Hmm.
or be open to have another perception presented to you that could cause you to reevaluate your thinking and how you feel about certain things? So where are all the good men at? Are they out fishing somewhere? Where they at, Deja?
Well, you know what, James, too, and exposure.
Ooh.
Being exposed to different environments can kind of put you in a position to where it wakes up something on the inside of you. Wow, if they can have this, I can have this too.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but like you say, where are they? Then sometimes too, whatever a person's perception of a good man may or may not be, maybe they have to look at what that perception is.
Mm-hmm.
You may look at a guy who's a single parent or who's a father that's outside of the home, and you may think to yourself, you have a perception that he's a bad guy,
Yeah.
not realizing that, that is not the case. You're just perceiving him to be a bad guy, and because of that, you may not give him an opportunity, and you can miss out on your Prince Charming, a good guy because of your own negative perception of what you see.
Oh yeah. Yeah. And you know what else, Deja? You know what I'm so tired of hearing, and I'm just gonna be real straight up honest with this one. I'm so tired of hearing the first thing you hear somebody say is, well, you know, all the men in jail. Well, do you want an inmate? If you don't want an inmate, why are we even bringing that up? Or
Wow, that's good.
all the men, they are the alternate lifestyle. Well, if you want a heterosexual man, then why are you bringing that up? It makes no sense to even bring that up in the conversation if you don't plan on going down to Genesee County Jail and asking the sheriff, can you see a list of the inmates so you can pick one to be your husband?
Mm,
Then why are we even bringing that up in the conversation if you don't want an inmate? Because obviously to bring that up is to say ain't no good men left.
wow.
That's but has your perception truly indeed become your relationship reality?
That's a good one. That's a good one.
I'm going to share this statistic, and this is a statistic that you can check and validate yourself. That's why I use only credible sources when I pull up statistics and things, because people can be like, I don't believe that. The U.S. Census data shows that 72% of African American men between the age of 16 to 29 have not fathered any children, and 60 plus of the black men with children that have children are living in the home eating dinner with their children every night, right?
Wow.
And so I bring that statistic up oftentimes because there has been a narrative that has been spun for many, many years about how all of these black men are out here, or just men in general, and they're fathering all these kids and leaving all these kids in broken homes with no fathers, and this, that, and the third. But we see right here that the census data that was done by the United States Census Bureau showed that between the ages of 16 to 29, a prime age when you would think that men would be out here just sowing their royal oats. 72% of the African American men between those ages, they have not fathered any children.
Wow.
And 60 plus percent of the men that have, they're at home with their children. Well, oh my God. Deja, you want to take this one? Because I don't know if I really want to read this one. I don't even know if I want to touch this one. Because it's going to be little sticky. A little sticky. Because you were looking
So,
at some stuff yourself too, wasn't you?
yeah, I can go in. No, you go ahead and cover this part, and I'll tell in with the portion that I covered.
Okay. Well, according to 2021, once again, United States Census Bureau information, out of about 11 million single parent families with children under the age of 18, nearly 80% were headed by single mothers. Of all single parent families in the United States, single mothers make up the majority. About 4 out of 10 children were born to unwed mothers. Nearly two-thirds were born to mothers under the age of 30. So today, 1 in 6 children under the age of 18, a total of about 12.7 million, are being raised without a father. Ooh, should I continue on? Or you want to jump in there?
Wow. Yeah, I'll jump in too because I know that James, when we talked the other day, we talked about, just when I brought up the Claudine concept or
Ooh,
theory, you
yes.
know, at what point are we, I could speak for we because I am a black female mother of kids.
Mm,
I'm raising 3 boys, but at what point are we going to continue having babies before marriage,
mm,
right? And not only that, if we have a child, do we make a commitment and vow to ourselves before God to say, Lord, I don't want to have any more kids until
mm-hmm,
you send me a husband.
mm,
But the thing that I seen too, as I was looking up some articles, and News One resource is the resource for this, 62% of black women are more likely to be unpartnered. So they're
yes,
likely to be single,
yes.
because there's a fallacy that black women choose to continue their education. So while they are continuing their higher education, they are putting relationships on the back burner.
Mm.
Well, at some
You need
point,
to say that, man. You need to talk.
at some point, you're going to be looking to settle down. You're
Wow.
going to be looking to marry and begin and start a family. You got so many black women now who are focused on their educational goals. They're continuing on beyond a undergrad bachelor's degree, going into master's program, going into doctoral programs, and to them they don't have time to settle down and be involved in a committed relationship. So the window of opportunity, it closes on them.
Mm,
So yes, they may put themselves in a position to be in a higher tax bracket, But when they begin to go looking and searching for the man that they think they want to settle down with, what the data is showing is that they believe that it's a limited pool of men.
Ooh.
They believe, but the thing also we have to keep in mind, it may not be that it's a limited pool of men. It may be that the man that you're looking for, he may exist, but not only are you interested in that man, but also another 100 plus women are interested in that same man. So then it comes the question of what make you so special. Remember I told you, James, that
Mm.
my girlfriend was telling me that, oh, you the prize,
Oh,
and how that conversation went.
yeah.
Is it a good time to tell him about that?
You might as well go there now because you didn't open up that door.
Yes. So I am blessed to have been married twice. My first husband was my high school sweetheart. We were married for 10 years. Relationship took a different turn. I was going in one direction, I was focus driven, he was going in another direction. But we are still good friends to this day, and we have two, my two oldest sons are by him. Our oldest son is in the Navy, he's married. My middle son, he's in college. And I have my youngest son is by my current husband. My current husband and I have been married. It'll be 9 years this coming December. Well, when my current husband and I began dating, um, I was going through the divorce process, and we met at work, and I was healing from that, right? But he was pursuing me, and in his pursuit of me, I knew I needed to heal in some areas
Right.
before I jumped into another relationship. So my husband and I, as we were dating, we had a disagreement, and a girlfriend of mine, we're really good friends, and she's married, and she was married at the time. Oh, you just tell him you the prize. Let him know you the prize. You the prize. So, in me telling him, I had an opportunity to tell him, yeah, because see, I'm the prize. Mind you, I'm a single mother at the time with a backpack. What I mean by a backpack is I'm coming into a relationship with two kids. My husband had no kids. My husband is younger than me. He had no children. So, that was that conversation. So, fast forward, we had another disagreement. And I had to tell him again, I'm the prize. And he shut that down, James. He shut that down. He had to let me know that, hold on, I let you get away with saying that once. You the prize, but I'm also the prize. So he had me know and understand, I'm not trying to hear that. We're both the prize. So we're both coming to the table with something. Your something is no less valuable than my something.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I had to I had to recant that, and I've not said that again, right? Because in my saying, "Oh, I'm the prize," I could have run the risk of losing him, and God sent him to me. We
Mm.
got to be careful, because sometimes God can send us somebody who's not packaged like we think they ought to be packaged,
Mm-hmm.
and we can miss our blessing.
Hey, when we ask the question, where they at? Where all the good men at? My baby sister said, in your friend zone.
They friend
I
zone
didn't
us.
come up with that.
Baby sister said that.
She said that. She's like, in your friend zone. That's
In
where
your friend
that's where a
zone.
lot of women's husbands are. I should bring her on the podcast one day so she can tell the
I
story.
would, yes. So we do have them checking the chat, and Miss Miller says, yes, heal first. Yes, ladies, we got to heal first.
Mm,
We got to heal first. And you know, I had to break some things off of me, because when you go through a divorce, it's the end of a relationship. Your
wow.
emotions is all over the place.
Yes.
So even though he was pursuing me and I was not ready at the time, he didn't stop his pursuit of me.
Wow.
He was ready to get married before I was ready to give it another. another run. But I thank God that He healed me, and when I said yes, we been married, almost 9 years. But yes, we got to heal first.
I'm glad you brought something up, and I'm probably saying it a little earlier than maybe I would probably like to say it, but it just came up as you were talking. Is remember you and I were having a conversation about two different parallel thoughts about men and women, how we think different. So if a guy meets a woman and he goes to his friends to tell his friends, his male friends, workers, co-workers, whoever, his male counterparts, about this woman that he's just met,
Hmm.
the first thing they're going to ask him is, man, what she look like?
Hmm.
Because that's important to men. It gets you in the door, you know. That's just the reality of it. I'm
Yeah.
not trying to change biology, y'all. So I know some folk, have a problem and struggle with social constructs in terms of gender relationships and all of that, but that's just
Hmm.
how being a wired. If I go to my buddies right now and I've been single and I say, man, I met this woman, the first thing they're gonna ask me is what does she look like?
Mm.
Now, however, on the other side of that, remember you and I were talking, I was like, well, Deja, if we can, transport you back in time and
Uh-huh.
make you single again, if that
Hmm.
was possible, but we don't want to do that. So
No,
this is
not this day and age. I would not want to be single. No.
so this is just a alternate reality
Okay.
type dream fantasy that we're just gonna make a really broad assumption on.
Okay. Okay.
Let's put you back a few years back. You single now. You meet a guy. You're going to tell all your girlfriends about this guy that you just met. What do you think would be the first question that your girlfriends will ask you?
Well, first, they're gonna want to know, do we got money?
They gonna probably want to know, well, what does he do for a living?
Do we got money? Right.
Yeah, so that's literally like how we think as men and women. We just think differently, right?
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
it is important that a man, there's scriptures in the Bible that I believe, and I'm a little traditional, support that a man should be able to provide for his household,
Mm-hmm.
his wife and his children. So with that in mind, I'm gonna go back to this slide before I really stick my foot in my throat and I'm looking all crazy. It says that around uh, half, 52.3% of single mothers literally have never married. And almost a third, 29.3%, are divorced. So even if we rounded that up, that 0.7%, and made it an even 30%, later on in a few slides, we're going to look at the divorce rates. And divorce rates for um, the black community is about 50%. So if you take that number and we can extrapolate it, we could probably say that of that 29.3%, obviously this is talking about single mothers. So roughly 30%, when the divorce occurred, there were children negatively affected or children that were involved in this divorce. And then we could take that other 20% of divorces and just say there were just two people that broke up. They were, that relationship ended and there were no children involved. So 18.4% are either separated or widowed. Half have one child, so half of that amount. 30% have two, and about 2/3 are white and 1/3 are black. So 52.3% of the single mothers, according to this statistic, and from the U.S. Census Bureau from 2021, shows
Hmm.
that 52.3%, over half, have never, 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 so I say it again, never
Never.
married.
Hmm.
Well, and that's unfortunate, and that's hard. That's a hard reality. And this is when I start saying the statistic about 86% of millionaires are married, and I know people, really get offended by that. But it's family it's the foundation, in my opinion, to how we can build wealth.
Absolutely.
At,
Well,
at any one time, about 2/3 of single mothers are working outside the home. They have to. They have to. A slightly greater share than the share of married mothers who are also working outside the home. However, only half were employed full time. So you got a large percentage of single mothers that are not even working full time, and that's challenging. A
yeah,
quarter,
because
twenty five point nine
James,
percent. Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
because now you got to factor in childcare.
Exactly.
There are some things that you have to factor in. If you have kids who are, at a young age, you got to factor in childcare. So
Yeah.
that could be a reason why they're only working part time, or some of them may be in school the other
Mhm.
half of the time, just trying
Yes.
to get themselves into a position where they can, have a better job, which
Yeah.
can bring in more income.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So only half were employed full time all year long, and a quarter, or 25.9%, were jobless the entire year. This was from 2021. Among those who were laid off or looking for work, less than a quarter, 22.4%, received unemployment. So if a single mother is able to work, her earning power still lags significantly compared with men. And I think a lot of that, like what you're saying, is if you caring for children, you got the child care piece, and then if you're
Hmm.
looking to try to get your education, so you're working part time, you're trying to go to school, and so naturally there's going to be a lag or a significant drop in your potential to earn comparable wages to your male counterparts.
Right.
Single mothers earn income that place them well below married mothers in the income ladder. And these are one you and I were talking. This is the one that I thought was extremely fascinating, but somewhat even heartbreaking because the gap between the two groups is significantly large. The median income for families led by a single mother in 2020 was about $49,214. So if you're raising one child, potentially two or three children on the median income under 50,000, that is, man, that's struggling.
Hmm.
And the median household for a married couple was more than more than double that. It's 101,517. And so I think one thing that I took out of this as a takeaway, Deja, um, was when you mentioned about now, unfortunately, we can't go back in the past, and children are a blessing from the Lord, right?
Yes.
Children are a blessing. However, we do have to be realistic to say that when you're a single mother and you're working and you're trying to provide for your children, a large portion of your income is going to the care of just making sure that you have a decent place to live, food, and now we're in a high inflation time right now. 8.6% is the inflation rate, the CPI index number, and that number is we see it at the gas station,
Oh,
we see
yes.
it at the grocery store. Am I right?
Hmm.
And so if you're a single mother and you're trying to really do well, if you are fortunate enough to have broke past that $50,000 mark, and maybe you're in the 60, or God bless, you might even be hitting that 70,000 mark. Even with that, when you're a single parent, it's going to be a financial hardship.
Yes.
Out of more than 10 million low income working families with children, look at this, Nisha, look at this, 39% were headed by single working mothers, or about 4.1 million. The proportion is much higher among African Americans, 65%. 65%. That's staggering. So here's
Yep.
that statistic that I showed, Deja. Do you think that how I want to ask you this? Do you think that why? Well, let me ask you this way: 50% never married, right? Black men, 52% never married. And we asked, well, where are all the good men at? Well, we got 52% of black men never married, 48% of black women never married, total of 50%. Do you think that black men, or men in general, I have to say that, or black men, we might as well just say that because we both black, been black all our life. Do you think black men want to get married?
Oh,
Maybe
yeah.
you should be asking me that. I don't know. What do you think though?
I believe they do. I believe that most black men want to be married, want to be able to come home to a family. Now, why that has not happened for a majority of them or a percentage of them, I'm not sure. I really do believe, James, and this is just me, I believe that what we're seeing now is a discredit to all black women, primarily how people are streaming videos of the black woman twerking, showing her butt. That is to me a disgrace to a lot of us as black women, because that is the wrong perception that people are taking in. So now it's looking like we're all like that. We're all just want to showcase our assets, and we see it, and I've seen it even, people who come on social media or on Facebook, if they're doing a full body shot, they turn it to where you can see the frame of their behind, to where you can see, their shape. They may be fully clothed, but they're still giving that silhouette of their butt. So my thing is this: you got to be careful, because now there's that lustful spirit that's running rampant, right? So now
Mhm.
people have this false ideology that black women, you know, um, we're just this, symbol of uh, of women who are getting the big behind. It used to be Caucasian women who were into the big boobs. Now it's all like black women are going down to other states getting these enhancements, so now you're looking like, that basically there's like a fallacy that, it's all about this image that they're portraying. So now you got the black men taking a step back saying, hey, hold on. What happened to you being a modest woman? Men
Mhm.
want a modest woman. Don't get me wrong. They may be looking at the outward exterior, but
Yeah.
more time than none, they are not going to make them women their wives.
Well, I mean, I'm a brother, and I'm just saying, um, God has blessed me where I'm in a different tax bracket, and if my mother was still alive, I'm just saying I wouldn't want my mother to see some of these Facebook profiles and say that's the woman that I'm bringing home.
And that's it. They want a woman that they can put on their arm and be proud to show to the family. And then if you're talking about having kids with this woman,
Yeah,
it's got to be someone who he's willing to change their last name.
absolutely,
He's willing
absolutely.
to present to the family as his wife. That makes a man proud to say, this
Yeah,
is my wife.
yeah.
This is who is going to bear my kids.
So I want to share something with you, DJ, that you brought that up, and I'm gonna be a little bit transparent when I say this, and naturally I'm just going to speak from a male perspective, a
Yeah.
man's mindset, right? So when I ask you this question, before you say the word, if I think you're going to say the word that I think you're going to say, be mindful that we're on a social media platform, so you might have to alter the word to be appropriate so that the algorithm won't catch it and cancel this video. You
Okay.
know, really. So, what is a woman's biggest fear at the core of being a woman? What is a woman's biggest fear? That would be
Um,
up there. And it might be multiple, but I'm talking about what would be way up there at the top.
to me, I believe, and this could be in another direction that you may be thinking,
Mm-hmm.
but to me, I believe a woman, her biggest fear is that she's going to die an old maid, which
That's
means never being married, never being in a position to be a wife, and
Mhm.
never being in a position to be a mother.
I
That's
believe that
what
is.
I personally believe.
I believe that's up there. How about if I offered you this option as even one being higher than that? The R word.
Yes.
Yeah, the R word.
Hmm.
You know what one of men's biggest fears is? To find out that a child that he thought was his is not.
Mm.
That's like the man. That's like sticking. You might as well just cut our head off.
Yeah.
That is one of men's biggest fears. So that's why men are very selective when it comes to. Now, we ain't talking about that 23% that's just going out here and doing whatever. I'm talking about that 72% that we showed in the statistics from the Census Bureau that showed 72% of the men between ages 16 and 29 had not fathered any children. And because they're selective, because that fear of if I have and procreate with a woman who is
Loose
very,
with her body.
yes, loose or presents herself a certain way, she may not be that way. But if she presents herself that way, then now we get once again to perception. The perception of the men would be that if I procreate with her, how do I even know
Hmm.
there is a risk that I can run into a situation where I can be taking care of a child that's not mine?
Hmm.
So that's a huge fear of men. And now I believe that one of the reason why maybe men are not um, so fast or quick to rush into marriage is because in the United States the laws are so one-sided when it comes to once you sign that paper, and there's so
Right.
much financial risk. There's risk with the paternity courts and stuff like that. Um, there's literally men have no rights when it comes to conception. We have no conception rights, none, zero,
Right.
zero, zero. And then even after the child is born, if the relationship doesn't work out, it's very, very hard, especially in a state like Michigan, for a man to get custody, primary physical custody of his children. And even with the visitation rights, even if you get visitation rights, y'all hear me when I say, man, we talking better than that like button going on right now and that heart button going on. Come on, press that like button, press that hearts. Throw some hearts on this one now, because this is we dropping some
Yeah.
gems. You go to the court system, and the divorce happens. You go to the court system, friend of the court. Trust me, because I've been there, been through it.
Hmm.
If the woman chooses not to abide by the court order in terms of visitation, you can write all the complaints. And they got the forms at the child support office. You
Hmm.
fill out the complaint form that you're not getting your visitation rights. You could turn in complaint after complaint after complaint. The child support agency is not an enforcement bureau only, except to make sure that you pay. Now they can put you in jail if you get behind in your child support. They will enforce that, but they will not do anything. They will not lift a finger. Will not do not one thing to make sure that your visitation rights are being adhered to, at all. They will do nothing. They will
Wow.
send you a letter in the mail after a while has passed by, because they want to make sure that they can continue to collect this money, right? And they will send you a letter say that if you're not getting your parenting rights, you have to go back to court because it was a judge that issued a ruling on the paternity order concerning your
Hmm.
parental visitation rights. But the friend of the court itself, the child support agency, will not do anything to enforce your visitation parenting time.
Wow.
So men are very apprehensive to really walk down that aisle and put their name on that paper, and they're very, very cautious about that, and they are very, very particular, about making that step, because that's a critical step, especially when you're talking about if you don't go into it with some type of prearranged prenuptial agreement, and you go into this thing with the fairy tales, and the little
Hmm.
angels on your shoulder. Ooh, I love you too, and you do all of that, and the next thing you know, y'all angry at each other. Now you can't talk to each other and come to any type of really, resolutions.
Right. 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 That's true.
So, and yeah, now you got to go to court, and you didn't pre-plan this potential of a breakup, and now the judge is slamming half. Now, I know some folk would be like, well, that's not a bad thing. Okay, well, you only got $50,000, half is 25. For some people, that'd be a lot of money. But if you hear with this dude that he is earning on the next level, and he got about $400,000 in the bank. Well, half of 400,000 is 200,000.
Right. Yep. So that is a big difference.
It's a huge difference,
That's a yeah.
especially if he already is earning that and you didn't get you a builder boo. I know you didn't like that.
Oh
You
God.
didn't get you a builder boo and build him up. He's already on that level when you met him,
He
right?
so
So
he
he
yeah.
already was there. So when you met him, and he already sitting on 400 grand and he making over six figures, he pulling in about 150,000 a year. He already there. He's got a lot to risk.
Oh yeah, definitely. So he's going to be very cautious, of who he procreate with and have, children by. Unlike the one guy who had what 36 kids, nine baby
30,
mamas.
33 or 34, something like that. Do you
He
need to
probably
say his name again? Y'all
he
can help
probably
me.
got 36 by now. He probably done had three more since that
That
broadcast, James.
dude was all over the country.
You want me to say his name
And
again?
Demond George. I got the name right this time.
Well, okay, Mr. George. And
Yeah.
he didn't look like he was 50.
No, no, he didn't look like he was 50. No,
He
he did not look like he was 50 at
and
all.
was proud of it.
He
But
was
I'm gonna
very
say
proud.
this too before you get into the next slide as you're preparing it. So,
Yeah.
that article also said that black women who desire to be married, they find themselves single. Why do you think that is, James?
Oh, oh Lord, let me take this slide back down. Jesus,
They desire to be married. Black women who desire to be married, they're saying that they find themselves yet to be single for this very reason. And what is that reason, do you think?
well, in my opinion, I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that, well, I'm gonna say it in two ways, and I've said this in previous videos that um, we focus on, and this is just what we do in the black community, and we've been doing it for many, many years now. Ever since I've been on the planet of Earth, we tell our young ladies, girl, get your education, you know, be a strong, independent black woman, get yourself established in your job and your career, do this, that, and the other. And now we've added to that. Now it is like the thing to do to have that phase, that, Santa Claus phase.
Mhm. Mhm.
Santa Claus phase, to have that Santa Claus phase. I want to say the word.
Yeah, you told
And,
me.
and we encouraging people to do that. You know
Yeah.
the one I'm talking about?
Mhm. Mhm.
Okay, I didn't want to say the word.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Me and you had that conversation. So okay, so that is, and what else?
Well, that's one reason. And then the other reason is, so in essence, we haven't taught our young women to be wives. And my thing was, I said this even to one of my siblings. I was like, look, I'm all for it. I'm not against saying get your education, go to college. I'm not saying that at all. But I am saying, why do we have to teach one in exclusivity or in opposition to the other?
Mm.
Why do we have to say, get your education, be strong woman, and all of this stuff, but then we don't say and learn what it means to be a wife. So the Bible says that a man who finds a wife finds a
Fine.
good
It's a good
thing.
thing.
So it doesn't mean he's out pursuing and looking and searching like he's hunting. It
Mhm.
means he stumbles upon, or he looks over and he sees, right? And the wife is not the actual, we talked about the beauty component, whatever, but he looks to assess her character. So oftentimes, marriage minded men, they are sitting back in an observatory mode. So check this out. I'm a part of a singles group, and I'm just telling you what men tend to do, right?
Okay.
They will sit back and they will observe. A lot of times, people will say, like in the comment section, we want to hear from the men on this, and the men are as quiet as a church mouse, because oftentimes the men are just sitting back being observatory, observing, because they want to see what's being said and how people are handling and conducting themselves in the comment section. And this is just how men are. I mean, you can say we crazy or we just, illogical, whatever the case may be. And then as we reading through the comment section, we be like, nope, she's not a wife. Nope, nah, nope, she's problematic. Nope, nope, she's not. I'm just
Mhm.
saying that's how we do. We just think like that, right?
Right.
And so we just sit back and observe. So if you got a man at your church or whatever, or you know, a man that's in your social circle, he may be interested, but he's not going to approach until he really thoroughly assess what he believes is your character and how that character that you exemplify can fit into the life or the vision that he has for his life and his future and where his goals are taking him. You have to be able, he has to be able to believe and see that you're going to be able to fit into his goals, into
Yes.
where he's going in his life. So he's assessing your character, and he'll just sit back. He maybe just engage in conversation, just friendly conversation with you. And nowadays too, I know this may sound strange, but all men are not just out to get you in bed. There's a
Right.
lot of men that really want to get this and do it right, do it the
Right.
right way. So one of the primary things in our mind would be is what else does she have to offer me in this relationship other than the components of her body?
That's right.
And I know that sounds strange because so many people are used to seeing men operate different, but we're talking about marriage-minded, mature men that have integrity and character.
That's good.
So we're looking to see, if I marry you and I couple with you, am I going to really be able to make this thing work long term and build the family that I envision myself having, and be able to take you to certain social circles around my business partners, around my colleagues. Can I take you to church and not be embarrassed? Well, I know I'm talking a lot, about things that's a little, sketchy, a little bit, can be
Right.
offensive for people.
But
But
you know what, James?
you're looking for a wife.
That's
You're looking
that's
for somebody who has the characteristics of a wife.
you're
And if
just
you
making
haven't
it
been
plain.
taught how to be that because you've been told to be independent and that you don't need a man, it's going to be hard for you to turn that energy off. And here's the thing. This is, and I'm going to say it just to make it, just to say it. If you, as a woman, Deja, you can tell me if I'm right or wrong. If you see a man and he's not always walking in his masculine energy, in his masculinity as a man, that is going to be assessed right up front. You're not going to be like, well, let me get to know him and see how masculinely he
No,
is. No, that's
no,
foolishness. You're not
no,
going to do that. And likewise, a
no.
man ain't going to be like, well, let me get to know her first and see how feminine she is. So if you always walking around exuding another type of energy, and it's not going to be a thing that's going to turn people off right up front from Jump Street.
Yep.
So,
So James, too, I'm gonna say this, and then I'm gonna tie into what I seen in the article. But and you and I talk on a daily basis. So the question I have is, at one point you did mention to me in our conversation, and I hope I'm not speaking, on the platform that's going to have people feeling some kind of way. You said some men will be willing to go down in looks if that person has the other attributes that they desire.
yes, yes, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
Because we
so
need to
my
understand
yeah,
that looks is vanity, looks fade.
yeah,
Character not so much so.
yeah, absolutely.
What you and I always say what you see is what you get.
Hmm.
With people, because sometimes a person can only put on a facade for so long, but your true character is going to show through. And if you are a men or women of God, we got discernment, and discernment is going to show us quick. Okay,
You think about this,
so
DJ. If you're in business and you got a partner, a business partner, and y'all always fighting and can't get along, and your business partner is being disagreeable, you think y'all gonna really be able to build a strong, solid business with a
no,
partner where y'all having all of that?
no, that's going to dissolve because it's too much energy being focused on the wrong thing. So with a business is like a marriage,
Yes,
and you need to be able to see eye to eye, and nobody wants to be a part of this any dysfunctional relationship.
yes,
you know so what the article did say too, though, James, it said that black women who desires to be married find themselves single because there is a lack of prospects.
Mm,
But one would also say most people will say that that is not so true. There's not truly a shortage of men. However, their standards may be too high and they may not be willing to look outside of where they feel like they're at in terms of where they have and the things that they have accomplished. And
right.
like you said, if it's something to where they're not looking to do that build a boo, as you said. But the difference between men and women, I believe, is this, James. Women look at the right now, whereas
Mm,
men tend to look at futuristic. Can I build with this person? You
mm,
know, do I see myself with this person? When I say women tend to look at the right now, they look at where that man is at right now. They disregard the drive, the ambition. You know, a lot of women forego looking at that man saying that, okay, this man is ambition. He is going somewhere. He may not be there now, but he's on the fast track to success. Why not build together? Women will disregard and put them in the friend zone
mm,
and lose out on an opportunity to be wifed by a person or a man who is heading in the direction, and within 5 to 10 years they will be there. And
right.
what's going to happen is that window of opportunity is going to close
Mm,
because now that man isn't interested in you anymore. That window
mm,
of opportunity has
mm,
closed
yeah.
because now 10 years later, I hate to say it, sisters,
Mm,
some of us done picked up weight.
mm,
Some of us coming now with the backpack, like I said, with the two kids.
mm,
Whereas when I was interested in you, you had showed no interest in me,
mm,
because we look at the right now. And I'm going to say this too. That's why so many sisters are willing to get a man who is getting money, not the right way. You
mm.
know what I'm talking about.
I know what you're talking about.
But they're willing to sacrifice and say, okay, well, he can take care of me now. Well, we know that that occupation is a temporary occupation for most
Mm,
people. They don't stay in that occupation very long. So what is that person doing other than the right now to be able to provide you that same level of living 10 years down the road?
yeah,
You
yeah.
see what I'm saying? So that's the difference between men and women. Women tend to look at the, oh, they look at the swag, they look at the way he dressed, they look at, oh, and they fantasize about this person having it all together when they don't realize that all they're doing is seeing a smokescreen and a facade of who that person really is.
Mm,
They rather look the part. So it's almost like you're dealing with a counterfeit.
mm, mm. Counterfeit.
Counterfeit.
Deja, you made me think about when you put the time frame on it. Is now eight. I've been on my current, job 8 years. Prior to that, I was really struggling. When we first met,
Hmm.
what I was driving. Hey, I was struggling. Struggling is probably it.
I'm hold that thought, and but I told you, and I told you this in a text the other day. Even when we met, I knew you were different.
Mm,
Your conversation was different. The way you carried yourself was different. So I'm not surprised that you're at the level that you're at now. Because one thing that the Lord showed me with you is that you're driven.
mm-hmm,
Sometimes we have circumstances and situations that come up in our life that we have no control over. But it does not stop the fact that if we are a person that's driven by purpose, we gonna get there. We just got to pick ourselves up, dust ourselves off, and keep it pushing. And that's exactly what you did.
yes. And things turned around quick. Once I got this under this, it took a couple years of just relaying the foundation. But then I bought my house. Just all the pieces start coming together. And it turned around quick. So when you said about 5 years, wait and see where that man's gonna be in 5 years. Child, it turns around so quick. Yeah. So when you said that, that struck a chord in me that I identify with. because it seemed like I struggled for a long time. But
Mhm.
man, when things turned around, I still had the same level of knowledge about investing and all of that. I still knew what I knew and still was the same guy. And here, it's just nothing on the outside was appealing
Reflected that.
to anybody because I was still struggling based on the situations and the things that had happened to me that set me back. But on the inside of who I was, the core of me as that driven, ambitious, really passionate man about my purpose and finding that and then getting on it and not procrastinating, that guy was still in here,
Yes.
still
And
trying
you
to
know what,
find his
Jay?
way and break out of this, the insecurities that hit me from the situations that I was in at that moment.
And you know what? As a race, as black folk, we got to do better. We can take a person who was going through a life changing event and discredit them. But we
Mm,
will sit up here and we will look at somebody who got on the nice clothes, the nice jewelry, the nice shoes, the nice this, the nice that, and we think that that's the person who we need to be able to pull the wisdom from. When
yeah.
I'm telling you, most of those people, God is exposing them because they are counterfeits.
Mm,
Because we as black people, we're too busy looking at the outward exterior of man and we're prejudging them. And just because they look like they got it together, you're willing to take advice from them versus looking at somebody who you think is beneath you.
yes, yeah.
That's why one thing with me, James, I'm very selective of who I share things with. When I go into an environment, I dumb it, I downplay it necessarily far as the way I dress because I want to know: are you going to receive me for the knowledge I have, or are you going to receive me based upon what you think I have?
Mm, that's good.
We got
Vision.
that. We
You
got that
know,
right. Better.
hey, since we off script, we might as well stay off script at this point, right? So yeah, because we got a whole presentation, we may not even get back to it. That's cool with me. I'm always cool with
Yep.
rolling with how we go. So, ooh, yeah, okay. So think if we say that, okay, this guy is on his way up and this, that, and the other, blah 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 blah, and we look at the friend zone thing and all of that stuff, right? So remember, you may not even remember, but I shared with you something that I heard a friend of me tag me in this. I think somebody tagged me in it. I think that's how I found it. But I
Okay.
found this pastor that was teaching, and I don't know if you remember me sharing this with you, but he talked about people and their preferences versus their purpose and how they were making decisions
Yep.
off of their preferences and not making decisions by their purpose.
Hmm.
And when we choose preference over purpose, we're choosing what we feel and think over what God is trying to plan and lead us into. Woo! That like button should be going off right
Yep.
now. That
See
like
that?
button should get fired
That'll
up right now.
preach by itself.
37 people should be to share this video with their ATN cousin now. But when he was sharing that, man, that hit me like, wow, that is so
Yep.
true. And I don't want to nobody to come at me and try to start calling me misogynistic because I'm the last guy that's misogynistic. Trust me on that one. But man, you see it so much with women and how they make their decisions about relationships.
Hmm.
And I've always wondered, like, as a guy, I've seen some of my female friends and family members and people get involved with guys. I'm sitting over there looking at this dude like, child, that dude right there, you don't want him. But they all just like, oh,
Just in love.
so because that's your preference.
Yep.
You got the look or whatever that you like, and he carries himself a certain way, he talks that you like, but ain't no substance.
Ain't no
Ain't no
substance.
substance to it. And a
Yep.
guy like me, I'm sitting back looking, trying to tell you, I'm trying to hope you and tell you, girl, don't do that. Don't waste not even a month with that joker
Yep.
because it's going to lead to you needing some therapy.
Yes.
Saying out of this situation. And God forbid you have
Oh.
a child and need therapy.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'm trying to help you.
I'm
But
trying
no,
to
no,
hope you.
no, no, no. You got to have it because that's your preference. But if you start evaluating what's my purpose, what did God have for me in my life? And then you start putting that first and start making your decisions and your evaluations and your assessments of people based on what your purpose is. It would help you to make better decisions and choices, especially as it relates to trying to decide what type of man or person that you want to be with.
Yes.
Ooh, I
And
don't know. Oh,
James, I'm gonna say this too, because I know you and I talked. When
yes.
I met my husband, again, he was pursuing me. I had, going through a divorce, single mom at the time, 2 kids. He was totally opposite of my first husband.
Mm-hmm.
Like you say, preference wasn't so. He's taller, slender, wasn't so what I thought my preference was.
Mm.
Keeping in mind, my high school sweetheart, first husband, was shorter, broad shoulders, into sports. My husband is opposite. He plays drums in the church. That's who he is. But when I tell you, on the surface, he didn't look like my type.
Mm.
I got past that. I'm telling you, not so much so that it's about looks or he didn't look good. My husband is very handsome. But I got past my what I thought was my preference and gave him an opportunity to take me out on a date. And he's been wooing me ever since because this man is just wonderful. He's just a good guy. And I say this a lot because I really mean it. But I didn't friend zone him. Had I
Ooh,
would have friend zoned him, I would have lost out on a good guy.
right, right, right. And here's the thing, I love when you brought up the thing, and I'm glad you shared. Hey, y'all need to go back. If y'all came in late on this, y'all need to go back and listen to some other parts of it. Because when I say this, I'm connecting this to something that she said earlier in the show, in the podcast. So y'all don't stone me now that I'm bringing it up, and it sounds like I'm about to say something. Y'all gonna be mad at me. I don't get it. No, I'm just kidding. But look, and I know that a lot of women are used to dealing with a certain type of man, and I get that, for different reasons, and we're not going to go down that rabbit hole. But when you're dealing with a certain level of guy, and he's a marriage-minded guy, and he's a marriage quality type man, right? And you meet guys like that, is it's hard. And here's the thing: it's a mindset, and you help me, Deidre, that sometimes women portray as like, well, he got to prove to me that he's worthy of me. He's got to prove to me this. Think about it. If you got a guy out here and he's earning $200,000 a year, $150,000 a year, he's really about his business on his grind. Maybe got him a side thing going on. He's developing some business things on the side. He's really about his purpose. What does he have to impress and prove? I mean, he's doing it every day in his life, right? So it's some kind of way. I don't know why we push this on our sisters. This ideal, like it's always a man's job to have to prove he's worthy of your affection and your time.
Hmm.
And I love the way you put it earlier in the show when you said about how you kept telling your husband that I'm the prize. Every time y'all have a little disagreement, you had to remind him, I'm the prize.
Yeah.
I'm the prize. And he was like, look, child, you stop that because we both are prize. Both of us.
Yeah. Here
Both.
you talking about you a prize. You divorced with 2 kids. He should have been like, I'm the prize. I'm single with no kids.
Yeah,
But yeah, I ain't said it since, James.
yeah, because it's challenging for me as a guy, and I'm out here every day. You said it, man. I'm out here every day trying to put something together that can possibly positively impact my future, and the result on the bottom line of it a lot of times is related to money.
Hmm.
Hence the Working People's Podcast. And so, you know, look at here, this idea that you're trying to get some guy to try to prove himself. Look, my actions and every day on what I'm doing should have spoke loud and clear on what I'm about and my
See, proof
character and
enough.
who I am as a person.
It's proof enough. Cause I'm gonna tell
It's
you
proof
what,
enough.
I met you many, many years ago. You ain't changed. Only thing different changed about you is your tax bracket, brother.
And that joker showed enough to change.
And I'm proud of you. Look at you. Okay, okay.
Somebody cue the music. Cue the music.
Say, look, what you say, James? Some people know how to say they was blessed, but some people know when they show enough
Oh,
blessed.
that thing will change. And you know what? I ain't flashy with it either. I ain't
I
trying to
know
be
you're
flashy.
not.
You
I
know
know
what
you're
I'm
not.
saying? You like impressing nobody. I am who I am.
I am who I
So
am
that tax
too.
bracket didn't change.
I'm so proud of you.
If I smoke cigars, I'd be like this right now.
With your
That
Cuban, with your Cuban cigars from
look like
homemade, with made from the cigar bar. Like, okay.
look here, Deidre, I ain't used it yet, but I got my passport. I'm ready to fly somewhere, the Bahamas or Brazil or somewhere.
I
I'm
know
ready
you're
to get
right.
on a plane.
And we trying to do what? We just trying to help them get
We
there.
just trying to hope you.
Helping other people excel if they don't know the definition.
Hope you. Hey, can I share that one about the income? You remember that one about the
Yeah, go ahead and
income?
share that. Mhm.
Yeah, you know the one I'm talking about, right?
Yep.
About the income. Here, this one right here. So, who Jesus
You
is
got to,
hypergamy.
yep. You know you got to get that definition though.
Okay, let's give the definition then. Hypergamy. Let's give the definition of what hypergamy is. Hypergamy is the action of marrying or forming a sexual relationship with a person of a superior sociological or educational background. So, in other words, it typically tends to be where, as a woman, and I don't have a problem with it. Let me say that right now. Now, if you live in New York, I got a buddy of mine live in New York, and them New York brothers, they be like, no, girl, we gonna go 50-50. So I don't have a problem with a woman having hypergamous or whatever, which typically means if you're on a certain economic or sociological level, you want that man to be either on that level or above. And here's the thing, what I want to say about that. Well, I don't have a problem with it because think about it, brothers. If a woman is out here, she's doing her thing. She's she's kind of set her lifestyle, and it's appropriate to her income and her earnings, right? Why should she come along and have to all of a sudden lower her standard of living to be with you?
True.
Uh-oh. Okay, brothers don't like to hear that one. But come on, brothers, be real. Come on now. If this woman's out here, she's been to college, she's gotten her education, she comes from a two-parent family, two-parent home, you know what I'm saying? She's really doing, the things to try to improve her life. Even if she's made some mistakes in the past, she's done the work to go through the process of healing. You know what I'm saying? She's out here, she loves God, all the above, and she's worked her way up. She's got her degree, and now she's providing for herself on a certain level, and she has her lifestyle set at that level. Don't you think it's unfair to ask her to come down off of that? Oh Lord, gee.
Right.
Okay, maybe you should say something, DJ, because I don't know if the brothers want to hear that one, but come on now, man, we gotta be realistic about that.
Right.
You know,
Because you said yourself too, James, that you do have a lot more women um, in our communities, the black communities, who are pursuing higher education degrees.
yeah,
They're in pursuit of that. So that's going to put them in a higher earning with higher earning potential.
right. And now look here, it says it right on the screen here from the National Community of Reinvestment Coalition. These statistics, they hire some of the finest minds in the world to pull this content together, this data together. In the black community, female earnings and male earnings at the present time are from 2021 median annual earnings are even 42,000 and 42,000, right? So, a part of me, I understand it, but at the same time, Deja, from your perspective as a woman, could it also be a negative thing? Well, now if you say you have a woman and she's earning 80,000, and the guy is on this, median annual earnings, he's on that level, 42,000. Chances are, what do you think? Is that even going to be something that typically, I don't know if you want to necessarily find it where a lot of women will probably be like, yeah, I'll go ahead and make it work with a guy who makes less than me, and I'm still going to let him be the leader in our home. I really
Right.
don't know. I still
Right.
don't know how that's going to work, man. But
Well,
maybe
you know
tell me
what?
your perspective on it.
Yeah, it's going to actually take a very a very strong man who's confident to be
Yeah,
able to be even okay with that, right?
yeah,
Because
yeah,
sometimes for men, they want to feel like they are, able to contribute to the household in a way in which he is the head of the household.
yeah,
So
yeah.
if he's making 42,000 and let's say she's making 82,000. Now,
That's a significant difference.
that is a significant difference, but this is the thing though, James. If it's a newly formed relationship, that may not work. But if
Mhm.
it's a relationship that's already been in existence, like you use that term build a boo, it may not be that she's building a boo. It just means that he supported her to get
Yeah,
her education. Now she's in a position to be able to step into a role where she's able to make more. So ideally, she should be able to position herself to now support him. Because I'm going to
yeah,
tell you why. That's what happened with me and my husband. When the business started, he supported me to be able to get the business through the conception phase, through that 5 year mark to that sustainability stage to where, okay, now I'm in the business ownership, position. And I, in return, went back to him and said, now, what do you want to do? Let
yeah.
me be here to support you. That's how it should go. Now, is it to say that all relationships are going to go that way? No, it's not to say that.
Right.
But ideally, if you're looking to build wealth, generational wealth together, you may have to support one another at various times so that once you all get through, whether it's education or whether it's getting the business off the ground, that
Yeah,
now you can see the light at the end of the tunnel together. But to honestly say that if a woman is making 82,000, will she look in the direction of a man that's making half of what she's making? Realistically, probably not. It's going to take a whole lot to woo her to even look in his direction.
yeah.
I mean,
I,
I'm just going to be honest.
yeah. I'm gonna find something that I posted. I asked a question, or I brought this up on my Facebook page a while ago, and here it is. So I said, "Wow, this is a study that was released by TD Ameritrade, the brokerage company that does online brokerage accounts, and this was done in 2018. So that was what, three and a half, 14
Hmm.
years, 4 years ago." It says 41% of Gen Xers said that their marriage ended because of disagreements about money. So then I asked the question, and here it is to you, DJ, because I don't know if you saw this post. This was April 27th. So I'm very curious to know at what point does a person, male or female, in this case, we're talking about from the perspective of the female
Hmm.
looking at the male, at what point does a person become economically unattractive?
Wow.
Because I can tell you from a man's perspective, one thing that would make a woman extremely economically unattractive, and that's coming into the relationship with a lot of debt and bills, especially knowing if they're talking about having a family and she's gonna be off work to raise the kids and be at home with the children while they're small,
Hmm.
and she's had a lot of student loan debt, you know, you know, car, all of this. I don't know about that one, bro. that,
Yeah. You
Yeah.
know,
You could be the prettiest thing in the world, but if you got $150,000 of student loan debt, and you talking about you want to be at home, stay at home mother with
you
the
need to
kids.
be working part time just to pay
Yeah,
that student loan debt off. You know, Jane. You know what? Disha, don't go there. Be quiet, folk. We doing good today, but
don't go on there. Don't only go there. We might as well go there. You can open the door now. Go on.
no, I just said you hollering about you want to be a stay at home mother, and here you $200,000 in student loan debt. No, you better be trying to work to pay off that student loan debt. You got to be able to help him out to
That's
some degree.
and
You
likewise,
know.
the example that we just gave, if she's making 82 and this dude, he's still at 42. Oh, that probably is economically unattractive. Y'all,
Yeah.
if anybody's still watching the video, drop your thoughts in the comment section on that one, because that one, ooh,
Look, James. Wait, let me point the right way. Look, I'm gonna do one of my brother numbers today. Maybe he making 42 on paper. He making the other 40 doing something else. But anyhow, I ain't go, we ain't gonna go there. Maybe he making the other 40 in investments.
like maybe he is making some money in the stock market. Maybe.
Maybe he is. Maybe that's just the 42 that's on record. I don't know.
Oh my God, Jesus Christ! Ooh.
But then just to hear the term economically
Oh,
unattractive. Look, can you imagine saying something to somebody? You meet them talking about some, hey, what you do for a living? Oh, I'm an entrepreneur. What you do for a living? Oh, I'm not working right now. Oh, well, the entrepreneur gonna say, well, you're economically unattractive. Get away from me.
somebody please, if y'all watching this, somebody please in the comment section say something. Shantae, you still there watching this? Oh,
Shantae been on it.
oh man, what you say?
Economically unattractive. Wow.
Oh, go. Oh my God. Okay, Shantae said some men are assignments and some men are relationships. Oh
I
girl,
seen
I hear
that.
that. That's
I
golden.
seen that. That is. Shantae said, yeah, she's still on here.
That's golden right there because
Yeah, it is.
that's the builder boo.
That's the
You
builder
don't
boo.
want a man that's an assignment that you gotta,
Because assignments are temporary.
oh yeah, oh my God, oh well,
Assignments are
but
temporary.
economically unattractive, man.
That's some strong language.
That's strong language right there.
Ooh, I'm gonna ask my husband when he get home. Babe, was I ever economically unattracted to you when we met when I had my backpack, my two kids? Let's see what he say. He may say yeah, cause I was the prize. Oh Jesus, help me.
And the reason why we're talking about all of this again is y'all have heard me say the statistic over and over and over and over again, and I'm gonna beat that dead horse. I'm gonna beat them till we get back up and start running again.
Gonna beat him again.
86%. The statistics show 86% of millionaires are married, and in the black community, according to, and I give this statistic all the time, according to Entrepreneur and Black Enterprise, they say that we only represent 2% of the millionaire population. And I do honestly believe that there is a correlation and a connection between marriage and our low marriage rate. Should I put that slide back up again, Deisha?
Hmm.
Should I
Yep,
put it back up again?
yep. We gonna throw it up there.
Yeah, our low marriage rates and us building wealth. I just believe there's a connection in that. So 30% of black men are married. 30, it's at 33%, I'm sorry, and 27% of women. So altogether, 30% of our people are married. But did I have that other statistics showing divorces? I didn't put that one in here. I'm sorry, I didn't put that one in here, so it's not in here. But there's a statistic that I have that shows like 50% divorces. Like, so there's a problem. You know what I'm saying? There's a problem with us building wealth, and a lot of it, I believe, is directly correlated and tied to the fact that we are having trouble and struggling in building strong relationships and family. That's just something that we're having a problem with right now. right?
Hey, yeah, James, Shantae just put in a chat. I think the lady with the student loan should not have kids right away,
Oh, yes, definitely. That's good, definitely.
especially when it's at a max amount. You
Oh my
can't.
God.
Yes, Lord.
And Deja, you brought up something, and let me read this slide first, and then I'm going to say what I'm going to say about it. Unfortunate reality. This is an unfortunate reality. Now, look, you can argue with the numbers, current statistics, all
Hmm.
you want, but these statistics are compiled from a lot of data, and they're actual and factual. Families headed by women of color fared even worse. We're talking about those numbers when it relates to struggling with income and finances and living in poverty. Nearly 2 in 5, 35% of black female headed families live in poverty. Hispanic 34%, white 26%, and Asian 22%. Among all other ethnic groups, Native American female headed families with children have the highest poverty rate. So I brought that up to say this, and then I'm going to say what I was going to say.
Hmm.
There are statistics that show that just right off the top, and I've said this in our last previous show that we did, podcast, where the probability right off the top, the probability as a black person of you being a millionaire, there is a 6.4% chance, just 6.4%
Wow.
probability that you even be a millionaire. Now you factor in being a single parent, single mother, or whatever the case may be. To look, people can say all they want to, but, Jane, but look, the probability, yes, do unicorns exist? Are there mermaids? Are there anomalies? Yes, but they are so the small percentage is so doggone small.
Right.
It's insignificant, right? The percentage and the possibility is so small. It is insignificant to
Hmm.
even talk
Hmm.
about it. Look at this slide. It says that even as we age, I shared this in our last show. As we age and get 40 and older, then the probability of becoming a millionaire even goes down farther than that. So if you already only have a 6.4% chance of becoming a millionaire anyhow, then you start getting older and you start introducing all these other uh, factors that
Hmm.
can complicate the possibility of it, right? And now you get 40 and older, the probability of becoming a millionaire after 40, being a black African American, the number even goes lower.
Yeah.
Oh Lord, see that, and when I start saying stuff like that, that's why I be feeling like people just don't want to hear that. They don't like. I don't want to hear that. Why can't you talk about how to say day trade? Yeah, I could talk about that, but look here. Oh my God. Oh my God.
Yep.
I could talk about day trading, and you know what the problem is? You can tell people, if you want to get rich, you got to do this. It's gonna take you 20, 30 years to do it. 20, 30 years. We don't want to wait. We want to fast track it.
We want it right now.
We want it right now, right? We want it right now. And look here, I'm just trying to tell you, those statistics, oh my God, Jesus, oh Lord.
Yep. We want it right now. It's my money and I want it now. Remember that commercial?
Yeah.
JG Wentworth. It's my
Mhm.
money and I want it now. Don't want to wait for the annuity to mature. You want that money right now.
Let me ask you a question. And these I'll ask it to you, and I'll just ask it to whoever was still is watching the show or still watching the show. How many bad decisions have you made because you just had to have something right now?
Oh, plenty. And then
When
those are the
you,
decisions that you live to regret.
yeah, and it takes sometimes years to reverse the repercussions and the consequences of a bad decision that was made in haste out of fear or out of I don't
Flesh.
know. Yeah,
Out of fear of flesh.
and I'm telling you right now, some decisions, especially young men, listen to me when I'm telling y'all this. If you share this with your sons and your cousins, and them look the boys out here these streets. If you fool around and you have one or two children or more with some women, call them baby mamas, whatever you want to call them, you just basically, in a nutshell, you just cut your throat from millionaire status. Can you get there? Yeah, like I said, there's some unicorns, there's some anomalies, there's some mermaids, there's some real isolated, small minority of people that maybe that can happen to. And I ain't gonna say some people's names right now, right? Okay, yes. But the probability of you, young man, getting to millionaire status when you have to take care of children that's not in your structured home environment, with you being a husband and having a wife and what's the word I'm looking for, DJ, and a family structure,
Mm-hmm.
you just cut your throat. You just cut your throat. You might as well just drop a brick on your foot.
Yep.
You might as well just take a jigsaw or a hacksaw or a circular saw or a reciprocating saw. You might as well just cut your ankles right off,
Mm.
because you just effectively took yourself and picked yourself right up and moved yourself out of the equation of reaching millionaire status,
Wow.
because the responsibility to take care of those children comes first.
Oh yeah.
Now you can go out here and say, "Well, what do you do for a living?" I'm an entrepreneur. That's not a career, sir. It's not a career.
Mm-hmm.
And ladies, you need to be better at evaluating before you take your socks off. That's all I'm saying. I'm gonna clean it up.
Yep.
Do a better job evaluating before you take your socks off. Because once you take your socks off and it happens, now this guy ain't got no say so in it. So if he's got two children, three children, or no children, once he did that, he ain't got no more say so, brother. You don't have no more say so. I'm just trying to help you. You don't have no more say so.
Yep.
It's up to her to decide. If she decides to keep that child, you are a daddy
Yep.
now.
Yep. Because at the end of the day, too, James, um, like you say, before you go taking your socks off, you got to even ask yourself, am I, do I really know this person?
Yeah.
So many times people respond out of the emotional realm of, lust and lustful desires, instead of really, really getting to know a person. Because, like I said, it's a lot of counterfeit out here.
Now
You
I want
won't
to
know.
know.
You won't know it until you take that black pen and mark it, and then you see it instead of that line being brown, that line black. That's a counterfeit.
So my question is, why do you want what you want? Why do you
People
want
don't
what
want to
you
wait,
want?
James. No different than building the generational wealth. They want it and they want it now. But if you give it to them too soon, they're gonna lose it anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So if you lose it, you're not positioning yourself to build generational wealth. It's just like even, God got to cut some things off of people. He had to prune us, cut some things off of folks, so that when he give it to you, it's gonna sustain beyond the now. It's a difference between being rich and being wealthy, and I don't think a lot of people know that.
Yeah. My heart goes out to, how can I say this? Because I don't ever want to sound like I'm pandering. I don't ever want to come across as pandering. I pretty much try to keep it straight, be a straight shooter, right? You know, so I don't want to come across like I'm pandering. But I have to say it. My heart goes out for, that number when it talks about how many single parent homes we have. It's staggering. That number is staggering.
James, I'm gonna just say this, and I'm gonna let you continue. It's staggering, but are we really surprised?
No, 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 no. And once again with the numbers, they show that, once you start bringing children in the world outside of that relationship, we saw the income disparity between a single parent home and a family. It's double. It's double. The income disparity is double. Let me put that one back up again
Mhm.
to show the numbers. It's double. Let me find that slide. Is this it right here? Is this the one? I think it's the one. Yeah, this is it. The numbers is double.
Yeah.
Look at that. A single mother's earned income that placed them well below, well below married mothers in the income ladder. The gap between the two groups is significantly large. The median income for families led by a single mother, 2020. Now we're talking about 2 years later, so those numbers even
Mhm.
more. There's a bigger gap between them now. Was $49,214, well below the $101,517 median for married couples. That number is staggering. Look at this number over here. Only half were employed full time all year long. Only half. Among those who were laid off or looking for work, less than a quarter, 22.4%, received unemployment. You cannot live off of unemployment with children. It's just impossible.
Right.
And look at this. Look at this. Around half, 52.3% of single mothers have never married. And guess what? I don't have the statistics in front of me, but I can guarantee you what I'm about to say is actual and factual. That the older you get, if you have children, y'all please forgive me, but hear my heart when I say this.
Mhm.
The older you get and you have children, especially if you have multiple children and you possibly have multiple children by men that you didn't require to marry you, the possibility goes down. The statistics for marriage
Mhm.
decreases the older you get. Y'all don't be mad at me.
Wow.
Let's just try to do better and teach our young people to do better. Okay, we've been screwed up some stuff. All right? Put my name at the top of the list of people that have jacked some stuff up.
Mhm.
But can we now say, look, I want to help some young people, some young men and young women coming
Do
up,
better.
not to jump in the swimming pool of foolishness that I swam in for so long,
Yep.
and try to tell them, look, you can make some better decisions
Mhm.
so that we can get some better outcomes for our community of people.
That's
And
right.
start
Y-
breaking some of these generational poverty mentality that we have
Yeah.
and start reversing this curse. It's like
Yep.
a curse.
That's it, James. A generational poverty curse on the black community. And you know
You know
what?
what?
With my boys, I've told them, you better keep that bird in that cage.
You better keep them in the cage.
Keep that bird in that cage. Don't want no girls around here hollering about some. You no. Keep that bird in that cage, and they know what I mean.
Look, I'm just gonna tell you. I'm just gonna go and say it because I like a straight shooter. I just tell it like it is, right? And here it is. Look here. I'm just telling you, brothers that have worked hard and moved themselves up into the other tax brackets, they ain't lining up. Oh Jesus! Oh Lord! Maybe you want to finish it for me, Deja? Deja?
Mm-mm.
You,
No, go
you
ahead.
want me to just go and say it?
Go on and say it.
They not lining up to walk down the aisle, you and three of somebody else's children.
Right.
It's just a hard, cold reality.
That
And,
Claudine.
and what's challenging about it is my heart goes out because I don't like to see people struggle.
Yeah.
I hate to see people struggle.
Yep.
I just hate it.
I'm
But the
telling
hard,
you,
cold
James.
reality is, look, let's start telling our young sons and daughters to do something different because we know how hard it is right now for us.
But like you said, though, it is a mindset. You got to change your mind, your thoughts. You're not a product of your environment. You are a product of your thoughts. As a man thinketh, so is he. And like I said before, they got to know that they can have better. Just apply the principles. Like you said also too, it is a generational curse that's been plaguing the black communities for too long. The churches ain't telling the people.
Mm.
The churches ain't telling the people. The word of God says that seek ye first the kingdom of God and
Yeah,
his righteousness, and all these things shall be added unto you. Well, what things? Anything you want, as long as it lines up with his word.
yeah.
But see, they ain't seeking God first. They seeking stuff.
Mm.
They seeking idle things. They seeking things with substance. God is saying, no, seek me first where I am to be found. Seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness. Live righteous. Live
Yes,
holy. Live
yeah,
for me. Don't just play church on Sunday. It's time out for that. And I'm telling you now, God is getting ready to show the true men and women of God and who they are, because the exposure is coming. He said, seek ye first me, the kingdom of God, the righteousness, live a righteous lifestyle, and anything you want or think you want it, I will add it to you. But just seek me first. People ain't
yes.
trying to seek God first. They're trying to seek stuff first. If I get the stuff, then I'll get God later. We don't serve a second place God.
Mm.
He say, seek me first and watch and see why don't I bless you. And the people are going to call you blessed because we are the seed of Abraham. They're going to know that I blessed you, because when I bless you, man can't take it away.
Yeah,
But see,
yeah,
too often
yeah.
people are seeking stuff.
And I'm gonna say this too. For that 23% of those men. Remember, I showed the statistics said from the Census Bureau, 72% of men between the ages of 16 and 29 had fathered no children. That means that what 20? What's the math? 20 72. I can't. But
I
20.
didn't hear the numbers.
So 72% had not fathered any children.
Okay.
Right? Remaining 20 whatever percent, 28% is it?
Okay.
That's out here, being serial baby makers,
Yeah.
right? Look, there's something wrong
2%.
with the mentality of a man who wants a child to be in a position that is not the best for them. And the best decision, the best environment for a child, y'all can say what you want to say, is in a home with two loving parents. And the best economic situation for children is to be in the home with two loving parents.
Hmm.
And there's something wrong with some guy out here deciding, even if it is just 25, 26, 27, 28%, whatever, that's still too many.
That's right.
It's still too many, because basically you just sign an economic death sentence. I've been looking at some numbers and I ain't pulled them all up yet, but one of these days, me and you, Deja, we're going to do a study on the school systems. And we're going to talk about economic segregation.
Hmm.
Basically, how if you are in a certain economic group or in a economic financial pool, right, or level, however you want to say it, trust me, the school systems reflect that.
Hmm.
And children that are growing up in poverty, they do not have the same resources at school as children that are not growing up in poverty. So your child may have a 3.5 or even a 4.0 at the average school. When you send them off to college, That 4.0 looks more like probably a 2.1
Yep.
in terms of the things that they know. Deja, maybe you can help them out with that because you got levels of education that reflect what I'm talking about.
Yes.
So there is an economic gap in terms of how everything lays out and plays out, even in the school systems, with opportunities, with so many different things that are out here. So look, sisters, don't be looking down on these men out here that's walking around with dirty boots on.
Hmm.
Because I'm trying to tell you right now, some of these blue collar brothers that finished high school and didn't go to college, or maybe they went and dropped out, didn't complete. Some of these brothers that's doing plumbing, HVAC, utility work, linesmen, I can go on and on and on and
Waste
name a bunch of
management.
occupations. Some of these brothers is bringing in major cash.
Oh yeah.
They just don't look like it
Hmm.
because they flashy. Some of them maybe don't talk the way you want them to talk because they can't conjugate all their verbs and they don't know what uncouth means. You know. And so you might be thinking, oh, you can't even communicate well. You better change your perspective because I'm telling you right now, some of these brothers ain't talking not because they can't, it's because they don't want to,
That's it. That's it.
right? And if you got really close enough to get to know their character, you'll find out that some of these brothers really can articulate themselves in a way, you know, but they're reserved. But a lot of these brothers, I'm telling you right now, they ain't out here struggling.
Mm-mm. Nope.
And you might think you pulling it in at 82,000 that is. But I'm trying to hope you tonight. And I'm
Yep.
trying to tell you that some of these brothers is walking around here with hard hats and boots and dirty pants on.
Hmm.
Some of these brothers pulling in double what you got.
You better say that.
I'm trying to hope you.
Yep.
I'm trying to hope you. Okay,
That's
you
it.
went to college. I get it. You got you a bachelor's, a master's, and a PhD. I get you. I
Hmm.
understand you done got your doctoral program going on, this, that, and third, blah, 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 blah. You know, and while you racking up student debt, this dude is racking up a major 401k.
Yep. With no debt
Oh,
attached to it.
y'all ain't trying to hit me tonight. These you want before we teacher, what you got to say? Because I think we went a long
We
time.
did, but you know what though? It's good material. We're not just here just we being transparent with the people. They need to
Mhm.
know this. They really do. Because like you say, in hopes that we can break off some of these generational curses that has plagued our communities.
Mhm.
Yep.
I'm gonna type this person a little message real quick. They hit me up in the inbox.
Okay.
Say something else while I'm typing.
Oh, say something else. No, we just want to say that continue to tune in. Continue to put yourself in a position to where you can strive for better for not just your immediate family but the generations to come, because it's got to start somewhere. And like
Mhm.
James always say, he can teach you how to day trade, I can teach you how to open up a business, but if you don't change your mindset and view on it, it's not going to last long. We want to give you the tools and resources that can go beyond the right now and
Yeah.
can get you from rich, from poverty to being okay to rich to wealthy. Those are the different levels.
And let's set our children up for this same level of success.
Hmm.
Let's set them up for this level of success, right? Let's teach them something different. If we know the stuff that we've been taught ain't working, why we keep teaching it to the next generation? It ain't working for you.
Yep.
Oh, y'all ain't ready for that. Y'all definitely ain't ready for that one. Y'all gonna say, oh, hey, there he go again. Just being negative. It ain't working for you. Why we teaching this craziness to our kids and it ain't working for us?
Nope. Because I'm gonna tell you this, and I'm gonna say this, James, and it's probably gonna take us right on up out of here. But
Mm-hmm.
we got to get past that. I lived in the projects. Big Mama lived in the projects. Big Mama lived in the projects. At some point, somebody's going to need to step up and say, "I want to know what it feels like to have home ownership."
Mm-hmm.
And what I can't figure out is how babies keep coming into play. Who's sneaking in through the window at nighttime? You know what I'm saying? Because still, come on now, we got to do better.
Yes, yes,
If you knew better, you would do better.
absolutely. I still believe it, and I'm gonna take it until somebody drops a comment or something in this comment section that makes me reevaluate and reassess. I still believe that family is the foundation whereby you build generational wealth and financial legacy upon.
Hmm.
If you want to change my mind, inbox me. If you don't want to put it in the comment section because you think other people may see what you said, send it to me in a private message on Facebook, and let's talk about it. If you got a different perspective or you believe there's a better and another way that works out better than family,
Yeah.
if you're talking about building wealth. Okay, LeBron James grew up in a single parent home, all of that stuff. That's an anomaly. Most of our kids ain't gonna be no NBA stars for
Yep.
20 years.
Yep.
So stop it. Just flat out stop it. And most of our kids ain't gonna make it in a rap career. Stop it.
You
It's
don't
like
know
that's
no.
all we know and can glorify.
You don't
Stop
know,
it.
James. You don't know no 43-year-old up and coming rapper.
Up and coming?
Up
No.
and
Up and coming at
up and
43?
coming.
Up and coming. And
Up
look
and
here,
coming.
I'm just trying to help you. All right, OnlyFans works great when you're 25, but I don't think nobody flocking to a 55-year-old OnlyFans page to see nothing jiggle and shake.
Ooh, 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 ooh.
Oh Lord, you said we should gonna shut it down after you
We're
was
going.
finished. That's what we should have did.
You gonna get us shut down.
That's what you should have just slapped me through the screen and just told me that's enough. Stop
That's
it.
enough, James. Stop it.
Look, we got to build something that's sustainable, something that can last through the transitions of life. Let me help you out 1 second, and then we up out of here. You got to do something that's going to be able to last and be sustainable through the transitions of life. Look, I was 21 at one time. I was 25. I was 30. Right? Even Kobe Bryant had to retire from basketball. You got to be able to build something that's sustainable through the transitions of life as you age, as
That's
your
right.
body parts start dropping and not being at the same position that they once were. As your ability to jump up and down and slam dunk a basketball, your knees start aching and they ain't
Hmm.
able to lift you up off the ground like they used to. You got to be able to build something that's sustainable through the
Hmm.
transitions of life.
That's
And if you're
right.
going to build that type of sustainable wealth, you got to be able to do something past the ability to jiggle, shake, jump, and run fast. I'm telling you to hope you. If you want something that's sustainable past the transitions of life, you got to be able to do more than just go off of how you look on the outside, your external beauty. Because I'm telling you, that gets old.
Yeah.
Yes,
Vanity
you
fades.
think black don't crack? Keep looking long enough. It's going to eventually start wrinkling
That's right.
and dropping and drooping and moving slow.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
you used to be able to drop it like it's hot. Now you can't even drop it like it's medium warm. So we got to start thinking about the future long term past where we are right now
Hmm.
and build something that's sustainable. I'm out of here. Deja, you got anything else to say before we got to go? I got to go because
I
y'all,
just
somebody going
want
to call
to
me. There you go.
just want to say again, Happy Father's Day to the fathers tomorrow. Enjoy your day. Continue pressing forward the mark. And my brother James, Happy Father's Day, buddy.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Appreciate you. Yeah. Thank you very much.
thank you very much.
Hey, you've been watching the Working People's Podcast. And if you have been watching via YouTube, hey, go ahead and press that subscribe button and share this video with your friends, family, your cousins, and your auntie. If you've been watching over there, also press that notification bell so you can get notified when we upload new content and new videos. If you're watching here on my personal Facebook page, thank you so much for watching the podcast and thank you for pressing that heart button, pressing the like button, and sharing the video. Share. Y'all share this video. If you know people need to hear what we talked about tonight so they can make some better decisions and start passing on some different knowledge to their youngsters. Share this video. I'm telling you, share it. Share it, share it, share it. Press that thumbs up like button and heart on the video. If you're watching on the Working Man's Podcast platform as well here on Facebook, do the same. Thank you for joining in with James and my sister, Deja, the one, the
Yes.
only, the one and the only. We appreciate you watching the show tonight. And guess what? We got to go. We out.
So long.